Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast and I'm making today's recording outside church because my kids are having catechism classes. So expect to hear some noise in the background. Also, it looks like it's going to rain soon. Anyway, the goal of the podcast is solving business problems. So if you have issues with customers, issue with marketing, issues with sales, side hustle, career, in case you're a career salesperson, or generally something is holding your business back, then this is the show for you. So subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. And if you'd love to connect, then call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Today on the podcast is going to be another diary session. So for those of you who are career salespeople, you should learn one or two things here. But even if you're not a career salesperson and, you do hustle, like you're self-employed, you have to deal with customers once in a while, and you're with that client who is, those people now, they like to form as if they don't know pass. They want to intimidate you on the call. That's what we're going to look at today. How to deal with all those people that you call them for the first time and they want to say, come on, what do you mean? What do you know? Do you know how long since I've been studying engineering? Small boy, just give me the code, Jerry. What do you know about engineering? I will teach you your own job. Don't come and be explaining anything to me. So when you have all those customers that give you that kind of attitude, so how to deal with it. That's what I'm going to be looking at today on the podcast. Sorry if I can't come up with an elegant title for... anyway, I'll think of something by the time I finish this recording. So I gave my phone number earlier for those of you who would love to connect. And unfortunately, that is going to be the only viable option from September 3rd because Spotify, they have sent all of us message, those of us who podcast on their platform. They said that September 3rd, they're going to take away the comments on the platform. So for those of you who've been dropping comments, I really love you guys. I appreciate the support. I really think you guys are instrumental for growing the podcast now to just under 3,000 subscribers on Spotify. So I really salute you guys. Those of you who are commenting, making the podcast visible in the algorithms, I really appreciate you guys. But unfortunately, that era is coming to a close. So September 3rd, you won't be able to comment on any of the podcasts again. But I still salute you. I still appreciate you. Thank you very much for the love and for the support. So for those of you who want to let me know what's up, who want to reach out and say, I like the podcast, or you want to say, I hate the podcast, or you want to say, please explain this thing better, it'll have to be WhatsApp from now on because the options for comments are not going to be available in another month as at the time of this recording. So, today's episode is a diary session for my three musketeers, Shell, Elsie, and Rudolph. Shell, Elsie, and Rudolph, who sell solar services for my client in Lagos. I've been dropping diary sessions. The whole point of the diary sessions is so that my three musketeers, they can listen in and remember one or two things. And then also for you guys to be able to pay attention and learn from the experience of other people. Because it is not everything you're supposed to learn from your own experience. It is okay to hear somebody's mishap, somebody's mistake, somebody's miswaka, and learn one or two things from that. You don't have to make every single mistake yourself. Which is one of the reasons why when I'm talking to young men, and usually around, amorous affairs, if I can put it that way, they'll say, leave me, let me make a mistake. I'll say, look, don't be an idiot, don't be stupid. If it was any other area of life, you will learn from other people's caution. But because this one woman is involved, you say, leave me, let me make my own mistake. That's unreasonable. But anyway, that's for another podcast. So, let me see. Okay, so this was an old session. Of course, I won't remember all the details. So we're doing call monitoring, and then let me see. I think I have spoken about this before, where somebody was talking to one client, and while they were talking on the phone, verbal on the phone, somebody will say one or two things. You have an idea for a quote, and you just give the person a rough figure. So one of the salesperson gave a rough figure. He said, Oga, based on what we're talking about right now, it looks as if to hook up this thing would be like around that kind of 8.9 M. And then the customer, once he had 8.9 M in his head, that's what was fixed there. Bam, 8.9. But of course, it's things like this that are highly technical, solar sales. And for those of you who sell technical solutions, whether it's in software or construction or solar or water engineering or whatever. The thing is, sometimes you have to go and sit down and then look at everything and then cost it. How many pipes, how many engineers, how many panel, how many this, how many overlay, how many relay. So by the time you now calculate everything, you now be able to say, okay, this is the exact figure. So of course now, the salesperson went to the chief engineer, back in the office, and they discussed. They even called the client itself to come in for a meeting. But by the time they added everything now, what it came up to was 10.3. Then this thing now caused wahala. So this is how the thing caused wahala, obviously. So the thing caused wahala because when you're talking to a client and then verbal on the phone, you now say, bros, be like, say this thing will be like 8.9. The guy will register 8.9 in his mind and in his chest. And he'll be ready to deal with 8.9. Then when you come into the office and then you start looking at particulars and now tell him 10.3, in his mind he's like, what the hell? Where did this 2 point something come from? Now, it won't be helpful if you say, nah, bros, now, no be 2 point something. It's actually more like 1 point something, something, something. You say, in his mind, it's like, where did this 2M come from? And I think will cause some gap in expectations. So it's not as if what the salesperson did was bad. I don't want to say the person's name, so I won't throw them under the bus. Because actually I told them that we should be having money conversations up front. So it was good that they had that conversation. So it actually is a good thing that you tell somebody verbally on the phone that, look, based on what we're saying, it's as if it can fall like this, it can fall like this. Are you cool with that? Now, the reason why we bring money up early is because we're trying to remove financial objections in the future. If you don't tell somebody that, look, bros, it's looking like this will be 8.9, by the time you give him a bill of 9M or 8.3 or 8.5, the person will shout. He will say, what? And rightfully so, because you didn't tell the person that the thing can reach like this. So the whole idea of bringing these money conversations up front is just so that at the end of the day, nobody will shout, nobody will shake, nobody will shiver because you told them. So that if it's truly, truly an issue, they will fade from the beginning. So actually it's better that you tell somebody like, bros, is looking at this thing is 8.9. What do you think? So the person who budgeted 5 will say, 8 point what? Look, if you shake me up and down, it's only 5 I have. If you can't do it for 5, let me be going. So that's a good response. Remember what I keep telling you guys. Yes, it's a good response. That means we're making money. Some people think maybe it's a good response. You think you're in the game, but you're not. And some people think no, it's a bad response. But actually, it's the other way around. Yes, it's a good response. It means we're making money. They're ready to go. No is a good response. It means that they no one do. So free them and move on to somebody else. No is a very good response. Maybe is a very bad response. It is all those maybes that will continue to lead you on and to whine you and to whine you and to whine you. Since you mentioned romantic affairs in the beginning, let me go back to romantic affairs now. Young ladies, you know that yes is a good response, no is a good response, maybe is a problem. When you sit down and you ask the boy, what do you want out of this relationship? And they say, look, I want us to go steady. Yes, that's a good response. Very good. If you say, look, what are we doing here? What do you want out of this relationship? And the guy says, relationship, I thought we were having a good time. That one is no. It's also a very good answer. Because now you know that you've wasted the last 6 months of your life, you can move on. But then the boy who says, maybe, but why should we label things? And that response, no, you are just wasting your time. Same thing for the guys. If you toast the girl and she tells you yes, very good, you have a girlfriend. If you toast the girl and she tells you no, very good, you can move on or you can reapply. But then she says, let me think about it. I don't know. I like you, but that one, that's a problem. So yes is good. No is very good. At least you can move on. Maybe is a problem. So that's the rationale behind bringing money up early. So the mistake that this sales professional made is this. At least if you're using my own method. When you bring up this money thing, you give them a range first so that they know what's coming. And so even yourself, judging by their body language, judging by how they sound on the phone, or judging by how they shift in the chair, if you are sitting across each other, you now know whether, okay, this person can handle it or not. So you don't give an exact figure, you give a range. So in this case, if in your head you did some rough math and the thing came up to 8.9, you don't tell the person 8.9. You put some, what's it called? Buffer. You put some buffer. So you can say, bro, you know what? Based on what I've thrown out in my head, because, okay, 8.9, that's more or less 9. So you just put buffer. Maybe you can just buffer it 1 million up, 1 million down. I say, guy, based on what we're talking, this thing can be anything between 10M and 8M. You just say it like that. Remember, you say the highest figure first because it's called anchoring in pricing strategy. If you say the higher figure first, the other figure doesn't look that bad after all. But if you say the low figure first, the high one seems unreasonable. So if you say between 8 and 10, all of a sudden 8 is looking like it's a reasonable something. Well, if you say between 10 and 8, 8 is looking like a reasonable something. If you say between 8 and 10, 10 is looking 8 is looking like a very, very hard anchor, and 10 is looking like a high unrealistic figure. So you say the high number first. So that kind of thing now, if you say that over the phone, you now ask for feedback. So is this, even though this is beyond your budget, is this the sort of thing you'd be willing to invest in for your solar solution? You ask. You're trying to get some feedback. The person who says, that 10, well, anyway, let's be going first. Let's see. You know that, okay, there's room. The person that says, I told you that 5 is my budget. You're telling me 10. You're telling me 8. Please don't waste my time. If you can't do 5, let me be going. That kind of person, you now know that you guys can part on very good terms, and you just remain friends. Then you put them in relationship nurturing, because sometimes things change. Sometimes they go and buy the 5 million system. I've seen it happen with my current clients. They're talking to somebody, the person leaves. In this case, the person went to go and buy a system for 3, and then over the weekend, the system of 3M started giving wahala. They now came back to them, and lo and behold, the money that they needed to use to rectify everything was more than that first quote that they were giving them in the first place. So it happens. Stay on good terms, be friends. You never know. So you give a range first, then you get feedback. The person that says, oh, okay, yeah, it's doable, that's the person you cannot invite for the office and then have a conversation with that person. And then since you told the person between 10 and 8, if they see 10.3, they won't shout too much, because the difference between 10 and 10.3 is not that large. Okay, well, it's large, but when you're talking million, 10.3 is not that large. But for some of us, that 0.3 is not bad. At least 0.3 will put fuel in your car for like 3 weeks, so it's not bad. All right, so where are we? Okay, so that was the first one. But now, the call now that inspired me, I said, let me make this phone call, is one of the guys now called, and was somebody in Lagos, and the conversation went okay, except that the guy was very testy on the phone. Very, very testy. Like, look, give me a quote. Like, look, I know about these sorts of things. I know about solar. I know about blah, 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 blah. Just give me the quote. So, there's some customers like that. I know. It happens in all industries. So even back when I was a wedding photographer, it used to happen. The person would start off the call, say, oh, yes, in 1970, whatever, I opened the first photography studio in Kano State. And so I've been in the business for a very long time, blah, blah. They're just trying to intimidate you. Like, they too, they're in the business. So before you start calling a high figure for them to cover their daughter's wedding, they're just trying to intimidate you. Like, I've been in the field since 1974. When were you born? Don't come and tell me that you charge me 400K. That kind of attitude. Mm-hmm. So there are people that do that all the time. Like, it's not just catering. That I've been catering for a very long time. What kind of bill is this? Am I not a caterer as well? All those sorts of things. So that's how this guy was as well. I know this, give me the quote. I know this, give me the quote. And actually, this is the second kind of client that we've been having since we're doing live call reviews. The other one, and I think I mentioned it on a previous podcast, the guy was talking about how, look, I'm an engineer. I know this solar. I have been to Guangzhou. I've seen where they produce the panel. I've seen where they produce the lithium. I've seen where they produce the everything. So if I want to go and buy this thing at producer's price, I know this thing. So stop faffing around and just give me a price. That kind of attitude, that kind of So that's how the guy just try and bamboozle the whole conversation. So when the conversation was over now, I told the guy, because I think my sales guy handled it quite well, but I told him that, look, for all these people that wants to big their chest and say, I know this, I know this, I know this. I've been a photographer since 1974. By the way, that one happened to me. It really, really happened to me. The guy said, I opened the first so studio in Jos in 1974, because, he was trying to pull rank. You're a photographer, but me, I'm the king of photographers. I'm a photographer's photographer. I've been photographing since before your parents hooked up. That kind of thing. So for those people who want to form, this is what you do. They have a lot on their chest. Compliment them and allow them to vent. Allow them to vent. When they vent and the temperature comes down, you can now regain control of the conversation and go into qualification and discovery or need analysis. Qualification and discovery, the part of the conversation where you're trying to figure out who is this person, what do they need, what's the problem, how can you help, do you have the inventory or do you have the skill set to be able to meet this person's need. Need analysis, well, another word is another way of saying need analysis basically. So you let them vent. So I told him that this is what you should have said. He said, Mr. Ayodeji, it's like you know a lot about solar, and then you keep quiet. That's why the person will now really talk, say, yes, I know about solar because I studied metallurgical and mechanical engineering in Obafemi Awolowo University. And after that, I did my internship in the person who vent. They just want to get it off their chest. Like, I know these things. You can't bamboozle me. Like, I am knowledgeable. So he let the person vent. So like in my own case, I said, wow, 1974? He said, yes, 1974. I said, what kind of technology were you using back then? I mean, was it regular Polaroid film? He said, no, this was before Polaroid. We used to use so and so millimeters. See, I was letting the guy vent that, he's a pro. I said, wow, really? Like the only analog cameras I know are the 35mm that my father had. So 35mm, that's small. Your father was a small boy. He was a journalist, Abby. Oh, no wonder was a small boy. What we used to do was we used medium format film back in those days. Something. I'm letting the guy vent. And by the way, have you noticed that then what you're doing is you are building rapport. It's no longer antagonistic something. The guy is trying to put me down. That shut up. You're a small boy. I've been doing this since 1974. What do you mean 400k? But I'm, letting the guy vent, bringing him into a conversation, piping things down while building rapport. Like, I'm not quarreling with you. You say you've been photographed, you've been in the game since 74. No problem now. More the flow. Educate your boy. Oh, really? 1974? No be 35mm. Oh, medium frame? Really? What does medium frame on analog look like? I just let the guy the vent. And that's how you do it. Let them talk. He said, Mr. Aki, you seem to be very knowledgeable about solar. Then keep quiet. They will talk and talk and talk. Or you say, Mr. So and so, you're sounding like an engineer. You sound very educated about this. And then let them talk. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I graduated in this, that. I went to Guangzhou, China to go and look for this, because I was working on so and so project. Did you hear about this project? Yes, we are the ones that handled that project. Let them talk. Let them get it off their chest. Let them feel big. Then you now circle back. Say, okay, well, that's really, really interesting, sir. So, yeah, I'd love to give you a quote. But to be honest, there are a couple of things, and yourself, you will know, since you're in the field, sure you know that there are some questions I need to ask you before I can give you an accurate quote. I can't just throw numbers like that. You're in the field now, so you know. Yeah? Situation has tapped down. From there, you slide into need analysis or qualification and discovery and start asking your questions. So that's what I did. That's for that photographer. But I didn't get the job anyway because, plus transport costs, plus everything. And to be honest, I didn't want to be shooting and then have that kind of guy around who will now be looking over your shoulder, will now be giving you tutorial on the day to say, young man, what are you doing? This is not how you shoot. I said, no, I don't want that problem. But from there, I got some details. When is the wedding? How do they meet? Blah, blah, blah. What date? How soon can you put me in touch with the bride? Because, of course, remember authority in BANT, budget, authority, need, and then timelines. So authority, yes, he's the one that's going to pay the money, but the person who's going to be photographed is the bride. So as soon as I can bring her into the conversation, the better. If she loves me, then it will be easier for me to be a contender. So it's the same thing. So I can't give you a quote. I have to ask you a couple of questions, engineer, okay. And then from there, ask all the questions I need to ask. How many AC? How many fridge? How many bedroom? How many hours of backup do you want? How many this? How many this? How many that? All those questions that you need. So that is how to deal with those clients that their chest is big and they want to flex muscle to show that you are nobody, that you are new in the game and you know nothing. And trust me, it does happen. The caterer one, I've seen it happen too. Like, it's not just catering. I run my own catering outfit. Now, what kind of figures are these? This is ridiculous. How much is rice in the market? I'm a caterer. So it happens. If it doesn't happen to you, thank God. But if it happens to you in the future, at least now you know how to deal with these sorts of things. So it's not a matter of saying, anyway, it's 20 minutes. Let me not drag this thing for too long. So there was also another call where there was opportunities to build rapport. And that is one of the things that you guys miss out on. And this was a call that was handled by Rudolph, actually. So, that Rudolph is not really a Nigerian name now, It's not as if we bear Rudolph. And then the thing is, Rudolph is even Igbo. So the first time I heard Rudolph, I was wondering, since when the Igbo people bear Rudolph? Anyway, please, I'm not trying to be tribalist or anything. I'm just saying the facts, It's like the name Athanasius. If you hear any Nigerian named Athanasius, the guy is either Igbo or the guy is Tiv. It is only Tiv people and Igbo people that bear Athanasius, that bear Aloysius, that bear what else? Sixtus, Callistus, Igbo and Tiv. You will not hear of a Yoruba Sixtus or a Yoruba. Okay, there's one Yoruba Sixtus that I know. Okay, scratch that. But you won't hear of a Yoruba Callistus. It's not possible. Or a Yoruba Athanasius. You definitely will not hear of a Hausa Athanasius. Anyway, long and short is Rudolph. Strange name. So as they were talking now, the guy called him Rudy. And that's something that Rudolph didn't. Well, Rudolph picked up on it and they had that small chat. But I told Rudolph that, look, names are a very easy way to build rapport. Because this guy is from the midwestern part of the country, and his own surname was funny. So use that to build rapport. Sir, you called me Rudy. Like, how come? Most Nigerians are not familiar with that name. And then you have a laugh about it. Oh, I knew one Rudolph back when I was in school in so and so, and we all called him Rudy. And then you laugh about it. Oh, yeah, only my mom and my sisters call me Rudy, blah, 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 blah. And hence, I was even wondering, this is your surname self. That's why I didn't call your surname. I didn't want to break my jaw. How do you pronounce this name? The guy will laugh. Oh, Waisha. Whenever you see K and H, it's not K, it is H. All that is just building rapport. So I told him that I missed an opportunity to build rapport. And around this naming thing, it's a very easy opportunity for building rapport. And lots of you you miss it. So whenever these things happen, try and take advantage of it. So it could have been a good opportunity for building rapport, especially since the other person sounded like an much more elderly gentleman who didn't mind talking to a young boy who's just trying to improve his hustle. So that was a good phone call. So could have built some rapport on that. So those are just some of the things I want to share from from this particular conversation that I had with the team. So at least now when people want to flex muscle on the call, you know what to do. Allow them vent. Allow them to show that they're the alpha and the omega. The most important thing is money you're after. Lay this conversation up so you can collect your money. Then look for opportunities for rapport. Names are very, very easy. In fact, I don't miss those ones at all. There was one call that, I think I even spoke about this last week, that once they gave me the lady's name and I saw it, I was like, this lady is Ghanaian. So for me, I go into those things, not in the beginning, but eventually I pop it up. So, oh, by the way, ma, I know your surname is so. So that's a Ghanaian name, right? Or are you Ghanaian? And then you take it from there. And say, oh, no, actually, it's by marriage. In fact, I spoke to somebody 2 days ago, and that was an opportunity for building rapport. So I said, oh, what part of the country are you from? And she said, oh, I'm from Edo State. I said, Edo? And he now went to go and marry somebody from Mali. That's based on her surname. Me, I was just making a guess that the guy is from Mali. And she laughed. She said, no, it's not from Mali, that he's from Nasarawa State. I said, Nasarawa State? But this surname, if it was Nasarawa State, they would have pronounced it like this. She said, well, that's the spelling of the surname that her husband's family has. But you can see how we built rapport. And then from there, I entered into that whole, me, I'm from Benue State. You see how opportunities for rapport can just come up casual in conversation that some of you don't take advantage of. Now, the reason why these things are important is because whenever somebody wants to buy a product or a service, this is Nigeria. And I'm sure it's the same in every single part of the world. The person is talking to 2 or 3 people. Except if it's mobile phone. Because I think mobile phone, like, you won't be talking to too many people. But if it's computer, if it's car, if it's caterer, if it's solar, if it's architect, engineer, the person is definitely talking to 2 or 3 other people. We need to find a way to stand out. In the beginning, nobody's going to store your number until you're a serious contender. So when you build rapport small, it's one of these ways that people just remember you. So like I told Rudolph that if it was me, when I call back the next time will be, hello sir, how are you doing? So I'm very well. Sorry, who am I speaking to? So, it's your boy Rudolph now. I called you last week. He said, oh, Rudy, how you doing? So I won't say Rudolph. I say, it's your boy Rudy. We spoke last week. He said, oh, Rudy, how are you? So I'm very fine, sir. And then from there, you enter the conversation. Then by the time you build rapport small, you've had like 3, 4, 5 conversations. Eventually, the guy will store your name. You're making progress. You're now in the lead. Okay, well, maybe not in the lead, but you're a contender. So be looking for ways to build rapport so that by the time they pick up the phone, they haven't stored your phone number and they remember, oh, is that Benue boy? Rapport established. So, oh, is that Igbo boy with a strange name? Rapport established. They say, oh, is that Ijesha boy? Rapport established. So whichever way. But all this naming thing, very, very easy opportunity. Let's try and take advantage of these things when we can. So that's it, and that's all for this episode. Remember, if you'd love to connect, you can call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Especially for those of you who like to comment on the podcast. Sorry, comments are going away next month. So WhatsApp, that's all we have for now. It's the only way for us to stay in touch. So thanks for your time and attention. I will catch you next time. Same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.